Welcome to the Smriti show. Today we have with us an educationist par excellence, Dr. Prerna Mitra. She is currently principal of GD Goenka Public School. Let's know more about her life, her journey, her vision and mission. Welcome to the show, Dr. Mitra.
Thank you so much, Smriti. It's always an honor to be with you.
And it's always a pleasure knowing you, seeing you, the way you work. So tell us about your, life journey as to how it began. And how were you as a child? Did you always wanted to become a teacher, a principal, or come into the education sector? So take us into the flashback and talk about your childhood. How was Prerna Mitra as a girl, as a child?
So to start with, about my childhood, I was a very shy and reserved kind of girl. And hardly I used to, mingle with my friends, and I had very limited friends.
Okay.
So then suddenly kind of there was a different aspect of my life which I faced, and that was when I lost my parents.
Okay.
So that was the time I became almost shattered, and I thought that, I can't be like this what I am.
How old were you at that time?
I was, it was not a childhood, I was a teenager,
okay.
Just 18 years old.
That's still very young.
Yes, absolutely. So though I can recollect how my childhood went, because though I was always a reserved kind of person, and we were 6 siblings.
Okay.
All my 5 siblings were quite elder to me. And you can say the childhood went like I was treated like a toy.
A toy by all.
Too much pampered and too much overprotected. So I was not, maybe because of the family, this kind of, you can say the protective nature of my family members, I was not able to open up so much. So as and when, I grew up, I wanted to showcase my own talents, though I had a lot of innate talents, but I didn't get any opportunity to open up. So at the age of 18 years, I had done my intermediate, and I had picked up the job in City Montessori School.
Okay, as a teacher.
As a teacher. At that time, since I was from Loreto, I did my schooling from St. Agnes's and then from Loreto. Then at the age of 18 years, when I just picked up this job, and you can say it's a destiny which was in front of me. It was already decided for me that I lost my parents, and I simultaneously, or before that, I had already picked up my job. So then I realized that yes, I have to, just explore what am I, and I have to come out of that cocoon where I was already put up by my family members, and I realized that potential. And then I started participating in number of activities. So as a student, I had already started in Loreto. I used to take part in number of co-curricular activities also.
You were into sports as well?
Yes, in sports also. I was a sports person in Loreto. I used to play a lot of games, but the moment I used to come back home, I used to find that, I'm again entering into a shell, and it was like a den, and that's all. So then in the school, yes, anything for sports. I used to love playing badminton. I used to love playing basketball, baseball, and my father was a doctor. So when he was alive, so he was an idol for me, an idol person whom I felt that, since he's a doctor, so he would expect that I should become a doctor. But since my inclination was towards the art side, so I opted for humanities stream.
Your mother was also working?
Mother was a homemaker, and she had brought up with her efforts, with her hard work, all our siblings together.
Yeah.
And father had really, brought up all his children very well. He expected that, my daughter should also have a doctor salutation.
Right.
Yes. So then I realized since my father had this dream that, I have to be focused. I have to become a doctor. So no doubt, I was a humanities student. So I thought, no, learning will never end for me, and I will keep working hard, no matter whatever obstacles.
And you have a
come on
doctor's salutation now in front of your name.
Absolutely. So I wanted to become, when I was again a child, I wanted to become, firstly, the dream was that I should go for air hostess.
I think that's the dream of every girl.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, when you're growing up, that whole charm of flying and going to so many countries and prim prom all dressed up. So I think 80% of girls have those dream of becoming an air hostess, going for Miss India and things like that.
Absolutely. So I thought, then my mother explained it to me, why you want to get into that profession? It's not the right profession for the girls. Again, people had that misconception about certain professions. So then I dropped the idea. Okay, fine, it's okay. As it is, I was always too much pressurized by all the family members. So I always used to get driven by whatever their viewpoint was. So then once again I thought, okay, now I feel so I should go for civil service examination. So then since I was 18 years old, then all my dreams shattered once.
What had actually happened to your parents?
Actually, my father had a heart attack and mother had a paralytic attack. Yeah, so it was not the same year, but yes, consecutive year, next year I lost my mother. And then I thought, now I have to just harness what is inside me. So I started participating as a teacher. I participated in number of activities when I was in City Montessori School, and I got a lot of weightage, and also I got off the big platform from the school authorities, from the management, wherein I could showcase what I was actually. So this way I was able to, from childhood dreams, I could fulfill it when I took up my job.
Right. So entering CMS opened up the educational window for you. And how long did you work with CMS?
I was there for past 15 years.
Oh wow, that's
and it was a long journey.
Right. Yeah. So you were a principal also in any of the branches?
Yes. No, not the principal. I started my profession as a teacher. And then gradually, after 15 years of working, learning so many things in CMS, and then I took up the position of principal in Lucknow Public School.
Okay.
Yes.
And how long you were there with Lucknow Public School?
I was there for past 3 years, and then I got an opportunity in 2010 with Army Public School as a principal.
Okay.
And then I took over, I switched over to the organization, which was basically a welfare organization.
Right.
And I took pride in being the principal of the school of those students whose parents are working for the nation.
Correct.
And they are at the borders, at the remote areas, sacrificing.
And you are a kind of a mother and a father for them. You play the role.
Absolutely, that was there.
What else happened in your life, like after CMS, and I think somewhere you got married as well?
Yes.
So how did marriage change your life? Did it become an obstacle in your working or in your way of life and thinking? What role did marriage play in your life, and how did marriage happen?
Yeah. So after, when I was working in City Montessori School, then obviously, my elder brothers, they were now after me, you should get married. Yes, so just like the old Indian thought that yes, the girls have to go to the different house and they have to get married. So they told me, now since you have already completed your graduation, so the best part what I could find in myself was that, I had that much of potential to do the work in the school itself, and along with that I completed my graduation. So I took pride in the fact that the challenge which I had to face, that was how will I complete my graduation if I have started working in the school where I am working full time, and will it be possible for me to complete my studies? So that was a big question mark. Usually, we complete our education and then we pick up the job.
18 is quite young to, start your career, but I think simultaneously you balanced both.
Yes. So then I took up my 3 years graduation I did, and I was actually the topper of my university.
Wow.
Yes, so that was the challenge which I thought, ki, yes, I can achieve it.
Right.
So I used to go to school in the morning, and as soon as I used to come back, I used to spend 1 hour for myself, just freshening up, and then back to my syllabus for which I was preparing, that is for my graduation. And I followed that 24/7 formula wherein I divided my work as well as my own personal studies, so that I'm able to do justice with both. So I was able to accomplish this goal also, and then I got admission in B.Ed, and I did my B.Ed after that, 1993, and I completed my B.Ed with flying colors, and then I got married in the year 1994, and my in-laws, my husband, his family, they welcomed me, and it was a blessing. You can say that they were the ones who actually motivated me to study further, to move ahead and not to look back.
Right.
So after marriage, I was blessed with my elder daughter after 1.5 years, and then elder daughter was there. Then I started studying for my post-graduation.
Wow.
Yes. So I did my post-graduation in public administration. Simultaneously, then my younger daughter was also born, but I kept on continuing with my studies. And I completed my post-graduation. And then further, now next step was what? That while I was in my job in Lucknow Public School, I took up this, my research work. I started with my research work, and I got enrolled in PhD course from Lucknow University.
Okay, nice.
Yes, so I was I was at the advantage that the research topic which I took was, the topic was basically, since my PhD was in public administration, but my teaching subject was English and geography.
Okay.
So since I had taught geography for more than 15 years, so I thought, let me take up that particular topic, which may also include my subject of teaching.
Right.
So since it is public administration, how can I combine both the topics? So I took a very unique topic. In the beginning, the topic was actually the role of human resource in agricultural extension activities of Uttar Pradesh.
Wow.
So since my that is my specialized subject in public administration was human resource. So I felt so that, if the agricultural, any activity in the field of agriculture or farming, it has to progress, then the management of human resources is very important.
Very true.
Not only in agricultural sector, but I think in
any sector. It's all about team. You are as good as your team is. So if your team is working good, any organization will function well.
Yes. So since, the condition of the farmers, the middlemen who are involved, and, they are not getting those profits, what are those activities which they can further extend? They can earn some additional income by practicing those extended activities in the field of agriculture. So I took up this topic and I framed this hypothesis. So initially my guide was quite confused with this topic, but when they took my interview, they were convinced that, okay, it's fine, that this is also a part of public administration.
Correct.
So then my topic got approved, and finally in 2012, I started this research in the year 2007, and finally in 2012, I was awarded with PhD degree.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a long time where I had to really do the survey in every sector. Personally, again, as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter-in-law, as daughter of my sister, as of my siblings, I had to again maintain that work-life balance, and I felt that I was able to accomplish that.
No, you are a perfect example, I would say, of work-life balance. You never left learning, you never left your job, you never left your, family life. All of it was going in coordination, in balance and in harmony. And I think that is the perfect example of human resource management. If you are able to manage the resources, the human resources at home, then only you can manage it outside. And that's why you've been able to accomplish everything at the right time, at the right space, and in the given time frame. So your journey is so inspiring, like for a lot of young girls also, what to do, how to do. When you get married, then your life changes. When you have children, then you have this decision whether you want to juggle, you don't want to juggle, you give up on your dreams, or you give up on your family life, what to do, how to do. So I am sure a lot of people will take inspiration that you can have everything.
Yes, absolutely.
If you're focused, if you're determined, if you know how to balance things, sky is the limit and you can have everything in life. So it's been very beautiful knowing how you have handled everything. And 15 years you were with Army Public School?
No, I was there for 12 years.
12 years, okay.
And 15 years I was with City Montessori.
Wow.
And with LPS I was there for 3 years as a principal.
Wow.
So, yeah, so it was almost, you can say, 30 years.
30 years,
and now
3 decades.
Yes, 3 decades I had spent, and all kinds of things, they come across your life. And I felt so, you should have that determination and willpower, and the focus should be there. So my children also grew up. They used to find me studying. They used to observe that our mother is studying. So they used to get motivated, and they also used to sit with me. So in a room where the study room was there, so there were 3 girls who used to study.
Always used to study.
And yes, so we were all focused in our own work, where I continued with my studies, plus my children were also studying. So this is how, we were able to manage. But yes, all these things were possible because of the support, the love and affection of my in-laws.
In-laws and husband.
Yes, and husband. And yes, my husband is working with the MNC, that is Micro Labs.
Okay.
And he keeps traveling most of the time, around 20 days. So you can say that for me, I had the double responsibility, wherein I could make my children comfortable, even if they want anything, any of their needs and desires, that was fulfilled. And then I also felt that yes, even if we were more at a distance place, but yes, that trust was there.
Yes.
And the family trust was there, family support was there.
Correct.
That could make everything possible.
And that's why all of you are flourishing.
Yeah.
I'm sure your girls are also all grown up now and working somewhere.
Yes. My daughters are software developers.
Okay.
Yes, in Bangalore and
both of
Pune.
them?
Yes, both of them are software developers.
Okay.
So that's how, and still my in-laws are with me. And I came back basically for my in-laws. I'm staying with my in-laws. I'm taking care of that. And I take pride in that.
Yes, yes. As a woman, I think we can't leave both sides of the parents.
Absolutely.
We have to take care and we have to juggle between both. So how has
education system changed, right? From when you
you started as a teacher to today you are heading GD Goenka. So what all changes you have seen in these 30 years of education system that you have been part of?
See, the major change which I notice, that is the paradigm shift between the child-centric and the teacher-centric education.
Okay.
So in our times, it was more of teacher-centric, and gradually, the shift has been there, and now we are more concerned about in present scenario and the pace the child is moving. We have to keep pace with the child's upliftment and their growth. And with technological advancement, there has been a drastic change.
Very true.
And during our time, we were aware of how to operate on computers.
Yes, I think that also in college sometime we started with the computer system.
So 1990 I did my computer course also. So fair knowledge I had on this computer application. But yes, as a teacher, how to teach them with integrated boards, with smart boards, and also to have that part of being an observer about how we have to modify our teaching methodologies according to the skills that the children possess. Like if the child is having those visual skills or auditory skills or kinesthetic skills, so is it possible for us also to prepare our lesson plans according to their needs?
Very rightly pointed out, like some children learn through audio video. I am more of a kinesthetic person. I have to write, pen and paper has to be there whenever I am attending a lecture or doing things. So now that this kind of system has been incorporated with almost all the public schools, I think smart board and audio visual are taking part. And how do you see like the NEP? NEP is taking shape, government is working towards it, all the schools have now been aligned to the NEP policy. So how is it shaping and what all changes we are going to see in the future, with regards to NEP?
I think NEP is like a vast ocean.
Right.
So we have to somehow, delve into each and every part of that ocean and explore it and analyze it. And the best thing which we can do from our side is that we need to implement it. Because NEP has been rolled out. It's a rolled out plan. It is being already documented. But now we have to ensure that as educators, whether it is in terms of ECCE, foundation literacy and numeracy, or we talk about the vocational courses which the teachers have to undergo, and then the experiential learning part, and so many things like technology, artificial intelligence, immersive reality, virtual reality, so many things which are coming in. How we will be we'll be able to prioritize. So it is better to first prioritize this rollout plan. So that we'll be able to at least make one particular segment of national education more perfect.
Correct.
And then gradually we can move on step by step to the others. So it is better to scaffold this national education policy in order to make it more successful and more relatable and applicable.
Correct. So, talking about NEP, and now that India is also opening up to the foreign boards, with GD Goenka is also now adapting to the Cambridge system of learning. So, a lot of parents have this confusion which board to go for, ICSE, CBSE, IGSE or Cambridge. So, what is the difference, if you could explain in a bit between all these 3-4 boards, and as a parent how we should choose which board is going to be good or best for our child?
Now see, it all depends on that particular child, and whatever I think the potential and the interest and aptitude of the child is, the child can opt for any of the boards. So I will not make any kind of discrimination between any board. All boards, I think they are meant for the future of the child.
Correct.
So just to point out few differences, if we talk about CBSE, that CBSE is when the child or the parents they opt for CBSE, they keep in mind that okay, CBSE is the board wherein we can at least enroll our child and the child will be able to prepare for the competitive examination. So
medical
that is medical engineering,
administrative
and law,
services.
Yes. So that is where the child, again, if we talk about CBSE, NCERT, so there are so many hinting aspects which are given in the textbooks and the planning of the curriculum. But again, the child has to outreach those curriculum or the syllabus of CBSE, and they have to again explore that what is beyond those textbooks.
Right.
So if we speak about that, and gradually when the child is able to access to those aspects of the curriculum or syllabus, then we find that yes, the child is having a wider knowledge about that particular part, and when the child appears for any competitive exam, the child is able to qualify those examinations.
Correct.
If we talk about IB board, so IB board is also being taken by many of the schools, but yes, many people are still hesitant.
Right.
Maybe because of the comprehension part, maybe how much they'll be delving into and getting into the curriculum. So again, that also gives a pedestal to the child to, explore more. But the contents and all, if you find in those books, I find that yes, they are quite appropriate where the child can understand it.
Okay.
So it all depends on the level of understanding.
Right.
Then coming to the Cambridge board, yes, Cambridge board talks about, since we have will be beginning this Cambridge board from April.
Right.
So we are all setting up our entire school as well as we are gearing up for this board, and we hope that it becomes successful. So if we talk about this, it is again, it is based on learning outside the classroom.
Okay.
And more of activity based, and it is on the semester based, wherein not so much of pressure is there in one go on the child, though other boards are also having the same system, but we usually prefer that Cambridge board is of a kind wherein it is more of an observation. So the gradings are based on the observation of the teacher, what the child is doing in the classroom.
Right.
Not only that the child is learning from the books, but it is the more weightage is given on their activities in the classroom, learning by doing.
And I think overall development rather than what they write on paper.
Absolutely.
It's more about assessing the child from all angles and then probably helping them and preparing them for the future.
And even we give exposure to the children where we can even take them for excursions at least once or twice in a month, wherein they are learning outside the school premises also, and they'll be able to explore that how things move.
Correct.
So all these things are very important, but yes, in a nutshell, I must say that every board, they have their own advantages
and disadvantages,
and it is up to the parents and students how they are able to accept it.
Very true, very true. So, you are a parent as well. You have 2 grown-up daughters now. What is your advice that you would give to young mothers and parents? You know, how should we do parenting? Like, we become parents without even knowing what parenthood is all about, how to do it, how to cope up with it, how to deal. We see so much of, mental stress issues. Children are stressed, children are committing suicide, children are misbehaving with the teachers as well. So, what is your tip for parents, a parenting advice that you would like to give to parents?
See, firstly, I feel that, one should have a positive outlook. That's very important. And second thing is that we must have lot of patience and resilience. We must first be an observer.
Right.
And if we do active listening, then I'm sure that active learning will follow.
Right.
So whether it is for the parents, whether it is for the teachers or the students. So in today's time, what I feel is that maybe it was the result of the pandemic that everyone wanted to have an outlet. They wanted to vent out, because from so many, 2.5 years, they were under house arrest.
Right.
So they couldn't vent out their emotions. So everything must have got cluttered and, now they are coming out with outbursts.
Right.
So what I feel is that one has to put oneself in others' shoes first. We must be empathetic and we must have lot of patience, lot of positive outlook, and we must enjoy what we are doing.
Right.
So if these few things, I think if every person follows, the river flows in its own course and it becomes very smooth also.
Very true.
There are pebbles, there are obstacles on the way, then one should not get disturbed. That is
what a lovely thought, And as a parent, we all have daily obstacles, right? From creating that lunchbox to dropping your children to tuition. So if we get bogged down at times, maid is not coming. So I think we have a calm, composed aura like you and we are positive, we'll be able to sail through all of this. And to end with, you are also a student, I would say. You are a lifelong learner. You have always learned, and I'm sure you are continued on your journey. You must be doing something or the other. So what is your advice to your students as a principal of GD Goenka School? What is your advice to students across the globe?
Yeah, so for students, I must say that since I was a student when I started working, so I feel so that we should not waste our time. Time is very important. We have to manage time. Plus, we have to manage our stress also. Even if, at times I face the problems of the students, I listen to the problems, and when they come and approach me that this teacher has said something, parents have said something, ma'am, I am facing a lot of problems. So for them, my piece of advice is, even if elders, they say something to you, it is for their benefit. Our seniors, our elders, they are not our enemies.
Correct.
So we have to accept whatever they are saying in a positive way, and this is as a suggestion, and this is a kind of, you can say, direction which we get from their thought process, from their suggestions, which will lead us to the road of success. So then only it is possible. So time management, stress management, and again accepting what the others are saying, that will again help the child to work hard, and then they have to, whatever they are being taught in the classroom, they must go home and go through it once. That's very important, because this is what mantra I followed. When I was a student, same mantra my daughters also followed. So whatever their teacher used to teach, or whatever I used to get taught, and I used to go back home and go through it once, every data used to get retrieved and I was able to register it. So to sharpen our memory, we have to follow these tricks, these mantras, but again, we need to meditate also. It's very important.
You are a very spiritual person. You do yoga and meditation.
Yes. So when a student or any person, they get up in the morning, the first thing what we do usually as per our practice is, our eyes are closed, and in today's time, we only search our mobile
phones.
And we search for the good morning message. But what I do usually is, when I get up, I just sit on my bed and I cross my legs, I keep myself calm, and I have a conversation with God. Just for at least 5 to 7 minutes, I just pray God, I thank God for the day He has given, or He or she has given me. And then, I feel calm, and then I move ahead with my
Daily
regular
chores.
activities.
Wow, wow,
Yes.
that's a beautiful tip for everyone,
Yes.
right from students to parents to start their day. It was lovely having you. Your words have been very inspiring, and a lot of people can seek inspiration from the very fact that you have achieved everything and so much in life. As a, I think when they talk about success, when they talk about happiness, what is it? You can't keep it in a compartment. You can't be just a CEO and be happy. I think happiness is sum and substance of everything. You have to have social acceptance. You have to have your personal development, your relationships, your professional goals. When all of that gets fulfilled, only then you can define happiness and success. And you are a perfect example of that, with a happy family, happy children, a good career, well-settled life, calm, composed. So thank you so much for coming and inspiring us with your life journey. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you so much, and I will ever always be a learner. ना पूछो कि मेरी मंजिल कहाँ है, ना पूछो कि मेरी मंजिल कहाँ है, अभी तो सफर का इरादा किया है.
Wow.
ना हारूंगा या ना हारूंगी हौसला मैं कभी, ये मैंने खुद से वादा किया है.
Wow.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Smriti,
Thank
for
you so
inviting me. Thank you.